of the entrepreneurship course. We are getting to our second to last week. We only have 1 week after this, and this is going to be your PowerPoint presentation, and this is going to be a summary of your work. First, last week on your 1 week marketing campaigns, those looked good. By the time you know how to do a 1 week social media marketing campaign, you are well on your way. You have reached pretty much the pinnacle of what small business is, because before you get to marketing, that means you have to be ready to sell in every aspect. You got to have your name, your email, your social media. You need to do feasibility analysis. You need your advisory board in place. You need to know what you're going to market. You need a website. You need to be able to take payment. You have to have a SMART goal on exactly what you want to accomplish. And then, and only then, are you ready to do a social media marketing campaign and they look good. You went through 1 week through 2 different social media platforms. You had to have something that you wanted to say, and you had to have visuals, and then you got to see everybody else's. That is pretty much a high watermark on the type of thinking that it's necessary to think like an entrepreneur. And remember, every business started as a small venture. So once you have that all in your mind, it's going to help you be a more competent employee no matter where you work or no matter who you do business with, because you understand all the fundamental details that it takes to run a business. Oofta. That's a mouthful, but that's what you've accomplished. And the copy, you really got that copyright. This is what I want to say on these time frames, and this is where I want to post it. And you already have that social media stuff in place. So that is good stuff. So that leads us to today's assignment, which is a PowerPoint presentation. So you're going to make a PowerPoint slide with 11 slides. And I'm going to give you a description on what you want on all 11 of them. And then you're going to post it to the forum, and then you're going to post to 2 others. All right. So one thing on PowerPoint first. On PowerPoint, when you start a PowerPoint presentation, over here you have this designer, and that brings up all these cool designs that you want to work for. And so this is the trick. You want the color scheme to match the color scheme of your business and the color scheme of your website. That's one thing that you want to think about. You can change these color schemes any way that you want, right? So once you get into it, you have all these different choices, and the ideas are limitless. So keep working with this, and this is going to make sure that you have a PowerPoint presentation that looks just the way that you want, and it makes it really manageable and easy because they have all these things here for you. All right, so the content. This is in your discussion forum, and I'm going to walk you through this just a little bit so you know what we're trying to accomplish here. Develop a PowerPoint presentation with 11 slides. So with this, you're not only trying to do the assignment, which you are trying to do, but I always said through this whole class, you're always going to be doing more than one thing at once. You're going to try and put together all these different things from your mind on how a business runs and how this works together. So the first slide, the name of your company, logo, tagline, and contact information. That's slide 1, pretty easy, no big deal. Who's your first target market? So are they male or female? About how old are they? What is their income? So you're thinking sales in terms of your business. What is your top competitive advantage? So you did that whole feasibility analysis. What sets you apart to make your company strategically viable? Number 4, what's one additional request you can make of your advisory board? So I don't want you to get locked into this idea that this business or any business or your career is going to be based on your mind. That's not a winner's mindset at all. You're smart, good for you. But how can you utilize that advisory board yet again? How can you have a conversation with them? What can you ask them? 5, who are 2 other members of your management team? So who else have you talked to? Have you talked to a buddy? Have you talked to a friend? Have you talked to somebody uptown? When I say management team, I'm being very, very loosely. Who else have you talked to that you're surprised that you even talked to that had something useful to say? Maybe it's the grandparent, maybe it's a relative, maybe it's somebody from town. Who are they? That's part of your management team. And again, this is how I want you to think. It's always in terms of team. No matter where you work, there's other people who've gone before you that have good ideas that can help you grow. Don't discount them. In fact, that's one of your competitive advantages, that you realize it's not just you to make you successful. Or maybe you have a podcast that could be part of your team. Or maybe there's a daily post that you follow of some kind. That might be a part of it. What do you anticipate your top selling item or service to be? And what is the price point? So exactly how much are you charging for that? And that should be on your website. 7, include a picture and description of your anticipated top selling item. So we don't want to say generally this sort of, what does it look like? And remember, Google Images is your friend. If you have something that sort of looks like what you want to sell, great. Or a service, the same thing. Google Images is really useful here. 8, what is one of your top social media strategies? You can just copy and paste that from the assignment that you just did, and then tell me why it's useful. Describe your next commercial. So just in writing, what would it look like? What would it do? What's the value proposition? And then what's the best part of your website? Your website should be up and functional. What part of it is really working for you? And then lastly, what are 3 useful insights you have learned about starting a business? What is it? It could have been from me. It could have been from your advisory board. It could have been from one of the posts that you read from somebody else. What have you learned? And now we're really getting to the end of this class. We're only having one assignment left. What have you learned through this whole process? You know, once you go up to that 10,000, 30,000 position, what have you learned from all this stuff? And one decent activity is just reviewing your past assignments, because once you understand this, it should give you a new and better perspective of being a manager. So that's your assignment. You're going to post it. Then you're going to learn from everybody else. And this is a key advantage for you real strategic thinkers out there. What has everybody else learned? That's the beauty of the class. That's the beauty of this technology, is right here. Some of the conversations would have been great, but now we even get to see what other people have learned from this process. So that's what we're after. That's good for today. See you next week for the last week. All right. Bye.